Hello everyone, this is NFT-Inator, and today we'll be covering how to launch your very own collection in as little as 5 minutes. Let's go through the steps. We'll start by creating our collection. From here we'll select the best option for our artwork files. In this case we'll be creating a generative collection, so we'll go ahead and select that option. Now we'll upload our folder containing all of our traits. We want to make sure that all of our traits are in the following format I'll show you now: the root folder and all the trait categories within that root folder. Now that we've uploaded our traits, let's give our collection a name and select the metadata format we'll be using. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll be selecting ERC-721. Now that we've uploaded our traits, named our collection, and selected the metadata format we'll be using, we'll now be entering the prototype and testing stage. This is the first stage of designing and creating tokens on NFT-Inator. In this section we can create custom tokens and add them to the full collection within the generation stage. Before anything, let's go ahead and set the quality of our images to 100%. Here on the left side we have our traits split into categories with the corresponding artwork. In the center is the area where you will design each individual token. And on the right is where you select the traits for the token you are working on. Finally, below that is where you can change the token you are designing. Now that we're familiar with the dashboard, let's take a look at optimizing and personalizing our traits. Firstly, we want to make sure all of our traits are placed in the correct order according to our layers. If you're familiar with Photoshop, it's quite similar. The higher the layer, the higher the priority it takes. For example, we don't want our background to be over any traits as it'll completely cover them. Now that we've got our traits organized, we can begin editing. Navigate to the blue edit button. From here you'll be able to upload any new traits within the category, delete any traits, or adjust the rarity. Awesome! We've gone through our traits and are happy with the results. Let's start creating some new tokens that we can work on. To begin creating a new token, click New in the toolbar located on the top of the dashboard. You can start building up your NFT layer by layer by choosing the traits from the attributes on the left. You can remove a trait by clicking the bin icon. When you have finished designing a token, give it a name at the top where it says Rename Token and click Save. Feel free to mix and match traits until you are happy with your creation. To create the next token, just click the plus icon at the top and you will get a fresh canvas to work on. You can repeat this process and click on any of your saved tokens to re-edit them. If you want to make any changes, remember to click Save after every change you make. Now that we've gone over your traits and saved tokens, let's take a look at your project settings. Here we'll see artwork, metadata, and team. You won't be seeing staff in your project settings. Go ahead and take a look through your settings and make sure you're comfortable with everything applied. And we'll go ahead and move on to the generation stage. Congratulations! You've completed the testing and prototype phase of your project, and now we can move on to the generation phase. On the left, we'll see all the categories and options we have during our generation phase. To the right of that, we'll see our generation settings, including the name of our token set, the supply we'd like on our project, whether or not we'd like to include one-of-ones, and the first ID number of your tokens. We'll also be able to see previews of our generated tokens here. For testing purposes, we'll be naming this token set tutorial and be leaving the supply at 100. During this tutorial, we won't be covering one-of-one, so we'll leave that at a no, and we don't recommend changing the first ID. Let's move on to the Rarity tab. If you didn't make any rarity changes during the prototype phase, you can do that now, as well as deleting or uploading any traits. Next, we have Rules. Here we can set any rules to control which traits can appear together. For the purpose of keeping this tutorial quick and to the point, we'll only be applying one rule today, in which we'll be making the Morty expression only mixed with the Morty skin. In the one-of-one tab, we can upload any of our previously exported saved tokens or any tokens you may have created prior. Within Live Rarity, we'll be able to take a look at the rarest traits in our collection. This will change as you make any changes to the rarities of your traits. In Hidden Traits, we can hide any traits we wouldn't like to see in our preview tokens here on the right, making it quite a convenient feature for testing. Moving on, let's take a look at our ranked by rarity chart. Here we'll be able to see what tokens are the rarest in our collection. You can click the tokens here and make any necessary changes and take a look at the traits applied to the token. Now that we've gone through all of our options, we have the Filter and Edit Token tab, in which we can filter our previews by one or more traits and edit the token we're looking for directly via Edit Token. Now that we've made all the changes we want and are comfortable with our collection, let's go ahead and regenerate our collection and move on to the next phase. Alright, we've successfully generated our collection and can now move on to the export phase. Here we'll select the token set we just created, the number of tokens we want to export, and choose whether we just like to export the metadata without the artwork. Go ahead and click Next Step and fill out the settings necessary for your collection. Here in the collection section, we can change the collection name, add a collection family if applicable, and set our 3 to 4 character long symbol. Next, in the token section, we can edit how our token names are displayed, insert a token description, and external URL if applicable. Once you're comfortable with your settings, we can go ahead and move on to the next step. You'll then be asked how your tokens look. Use the arrows to preview some of your generated tokens and make sure you're happy with everything up to this point. Happy with your collection? Great! Let's get to exporting your collection to IPFS. You can select 3 of the following options. Automatically export your collection using NFT-Inator, don't export your collection, or add your own IPFS such as Pinata. Now that we've selected our method of exportation, let's select an output folder. I'll be naming mine New Export. Now that we've completed our export, we can move on to the smart contract phase. For an in-depth look over our smart contract dashboard, refer to our smart contract tutorial. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at our payment tab. Here we can set our mint fee, royalty percentage, payout address, mint limit if applicable, and select the blockchain we'd like to utilize. Now let's configure our mint page. Let's select the picture we want to represent our project on our mint page. In this case, I'll be using one of the freshly exported tokens we created. Next, we'll add our description, website, Twitter, and Discord. Alright, we've filled everything out, and now we can finally deploy our collection. Here we'll set our contract name, contract symbol, header mark if applicable, select our blockchain, and or deploy directly to mainnet, which we do not recommend. We filled everything out and are feeling comfortable, so let's deploy our contract to testnet. You'll be able to deploy to mainnet after ensuring everything is functional. For a deeper dive into our smart contract features, refer to our smart contract tutorial. This marks the end of our basic tutorial. Thank you for tuning in, and best of luck with your projects to come.